Go.
Okay. Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me when you're rolling.
I've been rolling for 4 seconds.
Okay. Physics students launch a pumpkin backwards at a velocity of 10 meters per second at an angle of 40 degrees. Yeah. With respect to the horizontal axes. Assume no air resistance or spin. So, to calculate initial velocity, you take the tangent of 40 degrees, which is adjacent, which is the x, over your hypotenuse, which is 10 meters per second. And then once that's solved, it's 8.39 meters per second. But since you're going backwards, it would be negative 8.39. So to solve for your y component, which is your height, which we'll get to later, or in this case it's velocity, you would do the sine of 40, which is your opposite over your hypotenuse, which is 10 meters per second. So once that's solved, you get 6.43 meters per second, and since it's not going in the z direction at all, it'd be 0 meters per second. So the acceleration is 0, negative 9.8, 0 meters per second squared, because negative 9.8 is the force of gravity accelerating. The velocity of the pumpkin at the highest point in its trajectory is just the x component at 0 meters per second. And then to determine how long it takes the pumpkin to reach its highest point, you use the equation velocity final is equal to velocity initial plus acceleration times time. Since velocity initial is 0, you just take velocity final plus acceleration times time. So the velocity final will be negative 6.43. Since this went to 0, this is just 0 times, or minus 9.8, since we determined acceleration is negative 9.8 times time. So you get 0.65 seconds. So then to determine how high it goes, you just plug these numbers we've calculated into the formula. YF, so that's your final position at Y, is equal to Y initial plus VIY times T plus 1/2 AYT squared. So we determined that Y initial along with V initial is 0. So you take your VIY, which is 6.43, times your time, which is 0.65 seconds. This would be negative, but since we're dealing with time, we want our numbers to be positive, plus 1/2 negative 9.8, which is our acceleration, times 0.65, which is your second squared. And then once calculated, that's 2.1 meters. So that's how high it goes. This is the time, this is the acceleration, or the velocity of the pumpkin at the highest point, the acceleration, and then these are the initial velocities. That's the end.